Today we're sewing the tool wrap, a simple and practical organizer that's perfect for crafting, sewing, makeup, or hobby tools. This free pattern is great for beginners, and it's especially fun to customize with unique fabric choices such as cork, faux leather, or micro suede. This wrap features slip pockets to keep your essentials in place and a secure grommet and tie closure that makes it easy to roll up and take with you wherever you go. Whether you're making one for yourself or as a gift, it's a creative way to stay organized. I'm Kate from Sallie Tomato, and I'm glad you're here. If you're new to our channel, welcome. We specialize in stylish, beginner-friendly sewing patterns, and we love helping you build skills while making useful, confidence-boosting projects. Be sure to subscribe and sew along with us. We're always adding fresh ideas to keep you inspired. The tool wrap is a great way to protect the tools you use often, from scissors and seam rippers to makeup brushes or even colored pencils. You can make several to organize tools for different hobbies, or keep one in your bag for creative work on the go. This free pattern uses just a small amount of fabric, about 12 inches or a 1/3 yard, making it a great option for scrap busting or using leftover pieces from cork plug projects. With so many cork and faux leather styles to choose from, you can really let your personality shine. The finished size is 12 inches wide and 9 inches high when unrolled. You'll learn how to sew easy slip pockets, install a grommet, and add a fabric tie closure. No fraying edges to worry about when using non-woven fabrics like cork, faux leather, or micro suede. Before we dive in, make sure to download the free pattern using the link in the video description below. All the supplies and cutting instructions are listed on the first page of the pattern. This project was inspired by the classic artist wraps used to carry brushes and pencils, and now it's your turn to make it your own. Once you've picked your fabric and gathered your supplies, go ahead and cut out your pieces. I'll walk you through each step so you can sew with confidence. You can pause or replay any section of the video as needed, so relax, enjoy the process, and get ready to make something both beautiful and functional. Let's get sewing. All right, here I have main fabric. This is for the exterior, your slip pocket, the grommet facing, and your wrap tie. You can certainly substitute the wrap tie for a purchased drawstring. I have just a little sample shown here. Another option is to have a small scrap of foam. This is great as an extra support for the grommet, and I'll show you where I use that in just a few minutes. And then you'll need just a single grommet. On the wrong side of main fabric, piece C, this is for the slip pocket, mark up from the bottom edge along the right hand short end, and then draw an angled line from the top left corner to that mark. Then you'll cut along the angled line. You could either cut that angled line with a scissors or using a rotary cutter and ruler on a cutting mat. And this is what it should look like after cutting. On the right side of your piece C slip pocket, top stitch an 1/8 inch from the angled edge. With wrong sides together, center piece C, that's the slip pocket, above the long bottom edge of the main fabric piece B. That's going to be the exterior. Hold piece C in place with sewing clips or washi tape. I'm using washi tape because I can stitch right through it and then it will remove very easily. On the right side of piece C, that's the slip pocket, mark the divider lines for your pockets. It's helpful to have the tools that you're going to insert into the wrap. It's handy to customize each pocket spacing before you do the stitching. After you have your marks at the sewing machine, you'll top stitch along each marked line, ending the stitching just above the bottom long edge of the slip pocket. That's the piece C. Be sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end of each top stitched dividing line. And then be sure to remove all the markings right away. That way they don't set into your fabric surface. Now we're ready to add the grommet facing. With right side up, position the main fabric piece D, this is the grommet facing, in from the left hand edge of the wrong side of your exterior and just above the slip pocket, and refer to the pattern instructions for those exact measurements. Remember to cut a hole in this piece D, the grommet facing. It'll help with installing the grommet in a later step. Hold the facing in place with a bit of basting tape or basting glue. Another option is to slip the scrap piece of foam in between the layers to help support the grommet. And I've gone ahead and cut my little foam piece a little smaller than the pattern piece for the facing. That would be pattern piece D. Then I also cut a hole and cut that hole larger than the hole I'm going to need for my grommet, just a little bit larger. That way it doesn't interfere or show when you have the grommet installed. And then we'll go to the sewing machine and top stitch an 1/8 inch from the shaped outer edges of the grommet facing. On the wrong side of the exterior, mark out from each corner and then draw a diagonal line between each adjacent mark. Then cut each angled corner following the marked lines. Then fold each exterior edge to the wrong side, encasing the straight edges of the slip pocket and the grommet facing at the same time. Hold in place with sewing clips. Begin top stitching along the grommet facing area, an 1/8 inch from the exterior raw edges. This will be approximately a 1/4 inch from the fold edge. If you begin and end your top stitching near this grommet facing, and particularly the hole or opening that you have in the facing, the wrap tie is going to cover the beginning and end of the top stitching, so it disguises any extra stitches that you might have there. Simply pivot at each corner of your top stitching with the needle down in the fabric, just about an 1/8 inch from the adjacent side. Lift the presser foot, turn your project, lower the presser foot, and continue stitching. If your next stitch is going to go too far in Then simply pivot just part way, take a diagonal stitch across, needle down again, then pivot a second time and continue stitching. Sometimes that diagonal single stitch looks much neater than if you happen to overstitch or stitch too far. A quick tip for keeping track of any tiny screws for grommet hardware or any hardware: use a very small roll of tape. That way you can set the screws right onto the tape roll and it holds them in place and they won't fall on the floor and disappear. Now we're ready to cut out the grommet hole in the remaining layer of fabric and then install the grommet. Be sure to visit our YouTube channel to watch a helpful video tutorial for more details on installing this hardware. Okay, we're almost finished. Let's move on to the wrap tie. If you're using scraps of fabric for your wrap tie, you certainly can join shorter pieces together. You'll just have an extra seam or two. To make one long wrap tie, join each piece A, those are the wrap tie pieces, by placing the short ends right sides together and perpendicular to each other, overlapping the ends. Sew a diagonal seam from corner to corner, and then trim the excess seam allowance to 1/4 inch wide. Press the seam open, and then top stitch an 1/8 inch from each side of the seam. I prefer to trim the seam allowance after I've top stitched. I find it easier for top stitching when I have the extra fabric still intact. Now fold piece A in half along the length with wrong sides together. And then top stitch an 1/8 inch from the long aligned raw edges, completing the tie wrap. Fold the wrap tie in half, meeting the short ends. Now with the wrap interior right side up, thread the wrap tie through the grommet so the loop is visible on the opposite side. Tuck the short ends through the loop and gently pull the wrap ties until the loop tightens against the wrap edge inside the grommet. Insert any desired tools or supplies into the slip pockets. Roll the organizer up toward the grommet end and then wrap the ties around the wrap and secure the ends. I hope you enjoyed making your own tool wrap, or maybe a few to give as thoughtful handmade gifts. It's a practical project that comes together quickly, and we can't wait to see how you personalize it. Be sure to tag us on social media with #SallieTomato and #ToolWrapPattern so we can share your beautiful makes with our community. If this tutorial inspired you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you'll never miss a new video. We've got a whole library of fun and functional sewing projects to help you create confidently. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.